Close your eyes for a second and imagine a property in the countryside. Maybe it's an old farm that you haven't visited in years. Maybe one you grew up on, and visited during the summertime. But down at the edge of this property, there's an old iron gate. And for 30 years, that gate was the heartbeat of the farm. It swung open every morning, it latched shut every night. The hinges stayed polished because the friction of the constant use just kept the rust from ever getting a foothold. The metal was resilient because it was constantly being tested. Then the house went quiet. People stopped walking through that gate. Now, if you walk up to this same gate today, it might look exactly the same from a distance. The frame looks polished, but as soon as you put your hand on it, try to open it, it doesn't budge. It feels like it's welded shut. And most people would look at that gate and say, you know what, this is broken. But in reality, that gate didn't break. It simply adapted to disuse. Peace, love, light, healing. I'm Neriah, the founder of Iron City Biomechanics. And I've spent my career working with people who feel just like that gate, stiff, stuck, or told they're just getting old. And at Iron City Biomechanics, we specialize in bridging the gap between healthcare and fitness. We help you move beyond just not being in pain and getting you back to the high level of movement that your life demands. The truth is, your body is that iron gate. Whether you like it or not, your biology is making decisions every minute based on your movement or the lack thereof. And so we've been told a very dangerous lie about health. We've been told that inactivity is a neutral state. We think that if we sit on the couch for 3 months because we're stressed or we have a nagging hip ache, that we are playing it safe. We think that we are hitting the pause button on our fitness and that when we're ready, we can just hit play and pick back right back up like we were left on. But biology just doesn't have a pause button. In the world of physiology, there is no such thing as doing nothing. Your body is a high performance machine, it's constantly auditing resources. And so every single minute of the day, your nervous system is asking one question: what do I actually need to keep? And that goes based off of your lifestyle. So maintaining muscle is expensive. Keeping your bones dense is expensive. Managing the complex neutral pathways of one leg while reaching for a high cabinet, that takes a lot of energy, folks. And so when you stop moving, your body doesn't see it as just rest. It sees it as information. And so it interprets your stillness as a command to downsize. So inactivity isn't a passive, isn't passive, it's active biological decisions to ultimately decondition your body. So what we must understand is that your body pays rent. So if you think of it on the physical capabilities, your strength, your mobility, your balance, these things are like a fleet of expensive cars. And if you aren't driving them, you're just paying for garage space essentially. You're paying for insurance that you're not using and the maintenance. And so eventually you aren't using them, you're going to sell them off to just save money, right? I know I would. And so your body does the same thing. When you stop loading your joints, your bone building cells start to slow down. And this is rooted in what's called Wolff's Law. Bones grow or remodels in response to the forces that we place upon it. And so if there's no force, then there could be no growth. And so it happens in your connective tissue too. So your fascia, that web that holds everything together, it needs movement to stay hydrated. And so without movement, that web becomes brittle and sticky. And that's why when you wake up feeling like you've aged 10 years overnight because you spent the weekend being sedentary, it's not because of old age. It's because of that dehydrated tissue that has adapted to that stillness. I hope this makes sense. But now I want to speak directly to the women folk I work with every day. As we move into our 40s and 50s, 60s, and beyond, the margin of error it hits a bit harder. In your 20s, you could just sit at a desk for a month and and go for a run. Your body would just bounce back. But as we get older, the body becomes much more sensitive to the signals that we give it. And so I see this story all the time. A client has a minor flare up in her hip, and so she's worried about making it worse. So she starts protecting it. She stops doing her morning walks. She avoids the stairs. She starts sitting more because she thinks she's being careful. But a few months later, it's not just the knee that's the problem now. Now it's her back starting to ache. She feels winded walking to the mailbox. She starts to feel more fragile. And so she starts to think, I'm getting older. But the truth is that her body just followed the instructions that she gave it. She told her body, we don't need to climb stairs anymore. And her body, being incredibly efficient, said, you know what? Okay, I'll stop maintaining the hardware for those things. And this is the fragility trap. It starts with a small decision to move less, and it ends up with the body feeling like it's failing you. But it's not failing, it's just adapting to the new normal of that inactivity that you told it to do. Now, I'm not saying that you should never sit down. There's a massive difference between rest and inactivity. Rest is intentional recovery. It's the period of time where your body repairs itself after you've given it a challenge. Inactivity, however, is the absence of a challenge. It's when the body hinges never move. And so at Iron City Biomechanics, our goal isn't to make you a marathon runner unless you want to be. Our goal is to make sure that you're giving the body the right information. Movement is a language. If you want a body that is independent, a body that can travel, a body that can play with grandchildren on the floor without second thought, you have to keep speaking those capabilities into existence. So here's the takeaway from this week. Every single day your body is asking you, should I keep this ability? When you choose to take the stairs, you're saying yes. When you prioritize a movement assessment, when you prioritize, functional training, you're saying yes. Your body is always adapting. The only question is, what direction are you choosing? And so are you adapting towards capability and resilience? Or are you like that iron gate, adapting toward being stuck? And if you feel like your body has adapted in the wrong direction, stop guessing. Let's look at the data. At Iron City Biomechanics, we specialize in helping you bridge that gap from healthcare to fitness. We find where those hinges have rusted and show you how to safely, effectively reintroduce the movement that your biology is craving. And so head over to our website at ironcitybiomechanics.com to schedule your assessment. Again, I'm Neriah, and remember that your body is always listening. So make sure you're telling the right story.